As I always say, Mondays are the most boring days starting the weekday. However, I intend to keep your Mondays fun and exciting. So, as of today, we're going to be doing, of course, two reviews. But if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're in luck. We're in fact doing that today. However, we're going to keep this up to a bare minimum, and I'll explain at the end of this video why. The first one we're going to do, this takes back this past Sunday. As you know, we had Joshi Promotion Diana, or better known as World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana, with their event in Korakuen Hall featuring a lot of good matches. But the main event features Momo Watanabe taking on, of course, Haruka Umesaki, and we'll see how it goes from there. And then we move on, of course, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, with King of Pro Wrestling featuring many title matches. Of course, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, the Junior Heavyweight Championship, the Never Openweight title, the Global Championship, the New Japan World Television title, and of course, the IWGP World Heavyweight title. But the real question we ask ourselves, will we see any title changes? Well, that is something we'll definitely see. But, however, we'll get through A through Z to the whole thing. And then we cap up our episode with with our news updates, only following upcoming events from the promotions. Of course, who's booked, what matches are set. So there are no developments whatsoever that I was able to get my hands on, but we'll get through this. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, I can put it on the next episode or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the United Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, let's burn some rubber. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this is from the Joshi Promotion, Diana. Right. World Woman Pro Wrestling Diana, or better known as just Diana. Well, I have to say it's been a minute since I actually did one of these. And I apologize for those who have been around from day one all the way to now, those who did enjoy watching me talk about this promotion. I apologize I haven't got a chance to see one because I was unable to find it. But luckily, I found a source where I was able to see it, and there we have it. Now, this particular event took place this past Sunday in Korakuen Hall. So we had various matches, about 6 of them. Now, our first match, we have this girl named Nene taking on Maika Ozaki. Now, of course, I'm going to say that Nene must be the young girl, basically the rookie. But I would say the rookie will have to learn a lot. But of course, Maika Ozaki tried to do the Boston Crab, which is of course something that the rookies have to learn to master it. But however, in, instead of finishing her off with the Boston Crab, she used the torture rack, which was more effective. So Maika Ozaki picked up the win on that. Our next match, we have, of course, Honoka from Pro Wrestling Wave and Rina all the way from Stardom. They take on, of course, the homegrowns, Nanami and veteran Jaguar Yokota. Now, of course, you would expect if you guys are Diana fans or who's seen who's in the roster, you would think in the back of your heads that Nanami and Jaguar, who are the homegrowns of Diana, will most likely win. Well, that kind of did because, of course, we've been seeing great cohesion from both Jaguar and Nanami. But of course, you would think about Honoka and Rina, who are a makeshift team. I mean, they did pretty good, but not enough. But it was, of course, the veteran who picked up the win when she applied a pile driver on Honoka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, adios. Now, our next match, we have Miyuki Takase taking on Tai Hamna. No, Miyuki Takase teaming up with Tai Hamna, my bad. They face against Himiko and Aja Kong. Now, of course, those who know Aja Kong, she is someone you don't want to mess with, and B, she's a very hard person to try to get a pin on. I mean, we know her legendsness, we know how dangerous she can be, and of course, it's very difficult to pick her up to do a scoop slam or something. But of course, Aja being the legend that she is, or as JR said in the very first AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view, saying that she's the kind of woman you don't see making biscuits. Well, you know exactly what she would do. Well, she destroyed, of course, Hamna with uh, a jump and a elbow drop from the top, corner buckle, and just like that, it was over. So she kind of almost got pancaked from there. But yeah. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting 6-woman tag match. We have the members from Prominence, Mochi Natsumi, Kurugi Hiragi, and Risa Sera taking on Dash Shizako, Hanako Nakamura, and Ayako Sato. So basically, this was going to be a very interesting matchup. Not to mention, Sato was going to use the silver plate onto, of course, Mochi Natsumi, which was effective, but it did not put her away. But luckily, it was, of course, Sato who picked up the win when she applied a German suplex on Natsumi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is a battle royale. So basically, now, to be fair, I kind of lost track who was, who was being eliminated. But here's who we have involved. We have Yuna Makoto, Mizuki Kato, Deborah Kay. You may know she's a homegrown from Diana. Akari from Pure J. Makoto, freelancer. Cherry, another freelancer. QC Ninja Damari, you may know her from in Osaka. We have Miyuki Miyazaki, and of course the boss of Diana, Kyuki Anoi. Now, of course, there's common threads on this one. You look at Yuki Mizuki, Kayato Inoi. She, in fact, of course, there are 2 stronger women involved. So basically, you would think that's going to be the case. But however, it was, of course, Kyoto Inoi who picked up the win when she pinned. I think she gave a power bomb to Ayame Sazamura, and just like that, it was over. Now, our main event, we have, of course, Momo Watanabe coming all the way from Stardom and also a member of the most hated group in Stardom, Hate, taking on Haruka Umesaki. Of course, this match was going to be impressive, but however, I did mention Rina was there, another member of Hate. Of course, she was going to get involved. That's something, of course, we were going to see no matter what. But however, it was even though if Rina her assistant didn't do enough to put her away, it was Momo Watanabe with the Peach Sunrise that picked up the win. But of course, Umasaki will not appreciate losing to someone like her, but sooner or later they will come across. But Momo doesn't think they have the chops. Hate, as you know, are now making waves throughout the promotions. We know Momo made it an appearance. We know that Hate has made calls in Sendai Girls, which we will see at some point. But for now, we'll just leave things as it is with Diana and move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling with King of Pro Wrestling in Ryogoku. This is just a recent show. Now, of course, it opened up with Mystico versus Hiromu Takahashi. Now, recently we know that Hiromu has been targeting Mystico, even went all the way to Mexico to deal with them, but of course he came up short. But now that he's in, Mystico is in his turf, you would think that this was going to be the home field advantage between them. So it kind of did. It was Hiromu who picked up the win with the figure four, and just like that, it was over. I'm sure he's happy like a clam that he actually picked up a win against them. Now, our next match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. The Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida, versus the Bullet Club War Dogs, more consistently with Dragon Maloney, no, Drilla Maloney, and Clark Connors. Now, it's not the first time these guys they tangle with each other. There have been times they've been so close, but I'm sure Kushida and Kevin Knight have learned exactly what went wrong, what exactly their strengths are, what could be their weaknesses. And of course, we know that Maloney and Clark would try to brutalize them, but they did everything by the book that they could, the spear and all that. But in the end, it was of course the jackknife by Kevin Knight onto Maloney, and 1, 2, 3, brand new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions. I'm sure Maloney and Clark and Connors are not happy with this. I'm sure they will find a way to get retribution for this, but it's no doubt in my mind that those two will be participating in Super Junior Tag League. Now, the IWGP tag titles are on the line. We have the Bullet Club Rogue Army. This is a sub faction based out of New Zealand, from where Balak Fale is from. He teams up with Caveman Ugg to take on TMDK's Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. Now, keep in mind, Caveman and Balak Fale are two big individuals. I'm sure that Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols are up to the task. Of course, it was not going to be an easy one, but in the end, it was Mikey Nichols who picked up the win when they applied a double team onto Caveman Ugg, and Nichols was the one who pinned Caveman, and just like that, it was over. Now, the celebration could not begin with the arrival of course, of two members of the United Empire, more precisely Henare, the former Never Openweight champion, and the current KOP champion, Khan. So, of course, they are now challenging TMDK for the tag belt. So we'll see where that leads us. Now, our next match is for the Never Openweight Championship. We have the return of Ryohei Oiwa, who is now a member of TMDK. He takes on the current champion, Shingo Takagi. Now, of course, we are dying to learn what Ryohei Oiwa learned in his time since he went to Noah. I'm sure he learned a lot from Ogawa himself before he retired, and now he has shown how tough he can be. But unfortunately, you cannot beat a guy like Shingo, who is the master of it, who has fought the toughest individuals that step in the ring against him. And of course, Oiwa is no different. So he defeated him by applying the last dragon. 1, 2, 3. It's over. So I'm sure Oiwa will go back into the drawing board, and we'll see what happens from there. But as for Shingo, well, no one has challenged him, so we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match we have is for the New Japan World Television title. Originally, this was supposed to be Yota Tsuji versus Jeff Cobb, but however, that piece of garbage, Ren Narita, weaseled his way in the back door to get in. Of course, Ren Narita thinks he deserves more because he thinks he deserved it. Now, remember, those who remember, Not too long ago, when this title was established, the first winner, in fact, was Zack Sabre Jr. But if you guys remember, who do you think was the guy who was in the finals facing Zack? Well, that's the easiest question. If you guys know this or not, it's Ren Narita. I'm sure this is Ren Narita tried to right a wrong that was taken from him. Unfortunately, of course, his dirty tactics was going to get involved. And of course, when you thought that Cobb had this one win, Narita pulled the ref. He knew this was the only way to stop him. And of course, he used that stupid push-up bar to get away with it. And then he applied the double cross on Jeff Cobb. And just like that, the worst nightmare of them all, Ren Narita is the New Japan World Television Champion. I'm sure someone's going to try to beat him. And I'm sure Jeff Cobb will love nothing more to get his hands on him. Or will it be Yota Tsuji? Sooner or later, they will come across him some way. Now, our next match, this is a non-title matchup. We have a very interesting team-up. We have El Phantasmo, Shota Umino, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's celebrating, of course, 25 years of pro wrestling for him that he's been. He faces the most hated group in New Japan, of course, the House of Losers, or better yet, known as the House of Torture. They should call themselves the House of Losers, because there's nothing torture about them. Of course, we have Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi, and Evil. Now, of course, Dick was going to get involved one way or the other. They always up for dirty tactics. That's always been their trademark. However, it was, of course, Tanahashi with the high five flow onto Yujiro Takahashi. 1, 2, 3, it's over. So, it was done. Now, during the post-match, Tanahashi put out a promo talking about he wants to give it one more year, and he's planning to retire on January 4th, 2026 at Wrestle Kingdom. So, of course, this was a very interesting moment. But, however, Evil, who has proclaimed himself as the CEO of New Japan, decided to crash the party and tells Tanahashi that he doesn't get to decide when, because he thinks he's the president. Well, Evil, you're not, because you're a big man with big diapers. That's the problem. So I'm sure Tanahashi is not going to fall through Evil's hands, because Evil thinks he's the one who runs the show. Well, he's the president, so there's nothing he can do. Now, our next match, this is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Now, those who remember, not a few months ago, Sho became the champion, which was the worst nightmare for anybody. And Doiki was the one who decided to challenge for the belt, but Sho was like, nope, sorry loser, you're not going to get it. So that's what he did. Now, Doiki did get an opportunity, but apparently he came up short thanks to those hose bags of House of Torture. These guys like to get involved. However, Sho, he thinks he is so damn clever. He thinks that he can get away. You know what he did? He attacked Doiki at the entrance and dragged him out. And then when he did get him in the ring, guess what he did? He took out the referee, and then he decided to unmask Doiki. However, I get Sho messed up. Now, if you guys ever seen, do you remember Yushin Thunder Liger's alter ego? Kenshin Liger, which is like a darker side. Now we get to see a darker side of Doiki, and I don't think Sho was prepared. And then, of course, he applied, of course, then he used that wrench that Sho is always so proud. Well, guess what, Sho? You got a taste of your own medicine, you prick. That's right, Doiki took him out. Then he applied a whirling worldwide suplex de la Luna, and just like that, he retained the belt. But however, of course, the House of Torture will stop at nothing to claim what's theirs. And then Kanemaru shows up out of nowhere, intending to take out Doiki. But out of nowhere, well, guess what? Master Wato is back, and now he takes matters in his own hands. Now, as you know, he's been desiring to challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight, a title that was eluded to him thanks to that scumbag of Sho. I'm sure Sho cannot believe that this is happening. But of course, I'm sure Doiki is keeping an eye on Wato, so we will see what happens. Now, we have the IWGP Global title. Hiroki Goto faces David Finlay. Now, of course, Goto's children were right there watching, and of course, this is something that Finlay wanted to see. The show his kids that he will never become IWGP champion. And of course, he did everything like using the shillelagh. It didn't work. Then he applied the overkill, and just like that, he even is a scum of the earth, taking great pleasure to see Goto's cry. Sooner or later, someone's gonna make him cry like a crybaby. And of course, David Finlay with his moment saying, "I told you." Well, guess who crashed the party? Taichi. Thank God Taichi stepped up. And of course, he took matters in his own. I'm sure David Finlay felt that he was untouchable. Well, guess what, pal? You're not untouchable because you're nothing but a big crybaby with big diapers. That's what you are. So, we'll see what happens until then. Now let's jump into our main event, which I think many of you have been waiting for. The IWGP World Heavyweight title. We have the G1 winner, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito. Now, Zack Sabre Jr. has been longing this belt for a very, very long time. He has been close on many times, but he has tangled with Naito on various occasions. Now, of course, you would think that Zack Sabre Jr., who's been known as the master, as the technical wizard, with his technical aspects, would have been the deciding factor. It kind of did, but Naito, being aggressive he can be, was able to try to slow him down as possible. But unfortunately, it was not enough because Zack Sabre Jr. applied a move that, of course, he was given to him by none other than Taka Michinoku, the Michinoku driver. Now he calls it as the Zack driver. It only took 3 of them to put away Naito, and just like that, presto, our brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now, of course, he did a post-match promo thanking the fans for his support, but of course, as always, now as the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, that means there'll be challengers. And the first person to step up is none other than the former champion, Sanada. So, Sanada issued a challenge to him this Sunday at London for Royal Quest 4. So, of course, it's going to happen. But the list goes on and on. The next person to step up is none other than, of course, the self-proclaimed ace, future ace of New Japan. We're talking about Shota Umino. And of course, the fans were booing him. I mean, I don't think they liked the fact that he showed up and ruined his moment. And he wasn't the only one. So did Shingo Takagi. So basically, the hits are keep on coming. But the real question, we'll see how things will go for Zack Sabre Jr. I'm sure he's not backing down from any challenge, no matter who they are. But for now, we'll leave things as it is with New Japan and congratulate, of course, Zack, who is now the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So we move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. Right now, we're only going to focus on the upcoming events from the promotions themselves. Let's begin. Now, we have, of course, 2 updates coming from GCW. As you know, we have the upcoming Blood on the Hills 3 taking place on the 19th of October in LA. The GCW World Championship will be defended. Mance Warner will defend the belt against Ciclope. So that's going to be one crazy match. I'm sure there's going to be blood and murder in that particular match. And then, of course, we have the Bloodsport event taking place on the 24th of November in Jersey City. Now, they announced that the tag team Violence is Forever will participate, not as a tag team, but as individuals. Now, they have seen some tag teams involved in these type of matches, but we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to that. Wrestling Revolver announced for their upcoming show known as Bad Trip, taking place on the 19th of course, of October. Beef will be participating. Now, Canadian promotion Forge in Excellence taking place on the 19th. We did learn that, of course, Konosuke Takeshita will defend the AEW International Championship against Josh Alexander. So that's going to be one hell of a match. And then, of course, we have on the second night, on the 20th, in that particular time, Mike Bailey will be facing off against headbanger El Fantasma. Australian-based promotion World Series Wrestling has announced for their upcoming event in March of 2025 for Legacy Double X for the 28th through the 31st of March. They just announced Santana Garrett will now be part of that particular tour. So looking forward to it. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for our, of course, for upcoming events. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. We do have NXT, as you know. However, there is a chance that I may do just a one review episode. The reason is this. By the time this video is out, it should be out sooner. I go back to my regular day job, and apparently my hours are different. So I jump into 6 in the morning, and I won't be out till 6 p.m. So basically, I don't know how tired I could be. I mean, if I'll be able to do it, but we'll see. So let's just see how things will roll. I know my body's going to be worn out because I'm going to be working a 12-hour shift. So we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll just leave things as it is, and I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day.